The economics of selling cars. Picture. Eat your fuck. Picture this. You're standing in the middle of a gleaming showroom floor. Polished concrete beneath your feet. Brand new vehicles catching the light from every angle. A salesperson in a sharp suit is walking a couple toward a $65,000 SUV. And you can, I'm Dr. Money, please like and subscribe. Thanks, y'all. It does the then bought for kids to company to reach to kindness. You've got 60 cars on the lot, another 40 out back. Your name is on the sign above the door. Every weekend, hundreds of people walk through those glass doors dreaming about a new vehicle, and every single one of them has to go through you to get it. This is the car dealership dream, and it's a good one. Flashy inventory, the big ticket sales, the finance department churning through paperwork while people sign on dotted lines for 48, 60, 72 months. From the outside, it looks like a money printing machine. Then in para hands, the top stats. The average new car dealership in the United States grosses somewhere between $30 million and $80 million in revenue per year. The bigger franchise stores in major metros can push past $100 million, and the owner takes home about 1.2 cents on every dollar. Did it? That's not a typo. Net profit margins at car dealerships hover between 1% and 3%. Industry average sits right around 1.2% to 1.75% for a typical new car franchise store, which means a dealership doing $50 million in annual revenue might clear somewhere between $6,000 and $875,000 in actual net profit after everything is paid. Still sounds like a lot of money, right? Now consider what it took to generate that revenue. The infrastructure, the inventory, the staff, the financing, the floor space, the liability. We're going to break all of that down today because the car business is one of the most capital intensive, razor thin ration, operationally complex businesses a person can own, and almost nobody talks about why. Let's get into it. It's a B. There's a capital P at the dent P or value and master reality. First, let's talk about what happens when you sell a car. Say someone walks onto your lot and buys a brand new $5,000 truck. The factory invoice, what you pay for that truck, might be $406,500. So on paper, you made $300 and $500 can be. So Anderson Pride and then Dusty. Out of that gross profit, you have to pay your sales manager their cut. The salesperson gets their commission, usually around 20% to 25% of the front end gross. There are documentation fees, which vary by state. Enterprising costs get allocated per unit. And then there's something called PAC, a flat fee the dealership charges internally, sometimes $500 to $1,000, that covers administrative overhead before any commissions are calculated. By the time you work backward through all of that, a $5,000 new vehicle sale might net a dealership somewhere between $500 and $1,200 in actual front-end profit on a $50,000 transaction. New car sales are functionally a loss leader. The industry knows this. The dealership model is not built on selling cars. It's built on everything that surrounds selling cars. But we'll get to that. The point right now is this. The business looks massive from the outside because the revenue numbers are massive. But the margin structure means you are operating with very little room for error on every single deal. Entry costs. What it actually takes to open. And you're serious. You want in. What does it actually cost to open a car dealership? The two main paths. You can open an independent used car lot, or you can pursue a new car franchise through one of the major manufacturers. They are completely different animals. Let's start with the independent used car route, the cheaper option. You're going to need land or a long-term lease for a lot big enough to display inventory. In most mid-sized US markets, you're looking at 1 to 3 acres minimum. Depending on whether you buy or lease, whether you're in a suburban corridor or a metro area, you could be spending anywhere from $5,000 to $5,000 to $200 per month just on the real estate. Then you need a building. A basic showroom and service-based setup, even a modest one, runs $5,000 to $2 million to build from scratch. If you're leasing a existing facility, you're still looking at major renovation costs to meet state licensing requirements for a dealer facility. And then there's inventory. This is where people really underestimate the capital required. A small independent lot with 40 to 60 vehicles, averaging $18,000 to $500,000 per car, is sitting on somewhere between $72,000 and $1.5 million in inventory before you've sold a single unit. Therefore, you've sold a single unit. That money is just sitting there, depreciating, exposed to weather, damage, and market shifts. Now, let's talk about a franchise dealership. If you want to sell new Toyotas or Chevys or Fords, you don't just get to do that. You have to be approved by the manufacturer. You have to purchase a franchise agreement. And those franchise agreements for major brands in mid-sized markets can cost anywhere from $1,000 to several $1 million, depending on brand and location. Some blue chip brands in high demand markets have changed hands for $10 to $30 million just for the franchise rights popular. Then you have the manufacturer's facility requirements. Ford, Toyota, BMW, they all have standards. Your showroom has to be a certain size. Your service bays have to meet specs. You need brand compliant signage, display infrastructure, a customer lounge that looks a certain way. Automakers have been known to mandate multi-million-dollar renovations as a condition of maintaining a franchise agreement. Your startup technology cost alone, dealer management software, CRM, platforms, vehicles, tracking systems, and software stores, it easily turn zeros and dollars to $15,000 now to $150,000 just to cover. And you need staff from day one, a general manager, a finance manager, service advisors and technicians, sales staff, title clerks, lot attendants. Before you open the doors, you're looking at a payroll obligation of $2,000 Arizona dollars to $4,000 Arizona dollars per month at a typical mid-size franchise store. Add it all up. A serious franchise dealership requires $5 million to $20 million in startup capital. Minimum. The bigger the brand, the bigger the market, the higher that number climbs. Here's the problem. Most people who dream about owning a dealership are not thinking about $10 million entry costs. They're thinking about the car, hence owning operating costs. Now, let's talk about what it costs to keep the lights on every single month. The biggest ongoing expense by far is your cost of goods, the wholesale price of vehicles. Every car you put on that lot is money you've spent before you've made a cent. And the way most dealers manage that cash flow is through something called floor plan financing. Floor plan financing is essentially a line of credit specifically for inventory. A bank or manufacturer's captive lender fronts you the money to buy cars, and you pay interest on that line, usually prime rate plus 1 to 2% until each vehicle sells. For a mid-sized dealership carrying $8 to $12 million in inventory, floor plan interest alone can run $4,000 to $8,000 to $8,000 per month. Every month, even if your sales are slow, even in January, when nobody buys cars, then there's labor, and the car business has some of the highest turnover of any retail industry in the country. The average automotive salesperson tenure at a single dealership is less than 2 years. You are constantly recruiting, hiring, and training. Every new hire that washes out is costing you in recruiting fees, onboarding time, and lost deals. On the service side, certified technicians are scarce and expensive. A flat rate master technician can earn $8,000 to $1,000 per year, and keeping them is a genuine competitive war. Total labor costs at a dealership, sales, commission services, service staff, administrative, typically consume 45 to 55% of gross profit. That's before a single overhead bill is paid. Lit up cost. A large showroom building lit up and climate control 7 days a week. With service bays running compressors and lifts, you're looking at $1,500 lift to $1,000 to $1,000 per month in utilities alone. Marketing. Automotive advertising is notoriously expensive. Manufacturer co-op dollars help, but a typical dealership still spends $5,000 to $100,000 per 100 pairs per month on digital advertising, video, search ads, and direct mail just to stay competitive in their market. Sorens. This one surprises people. You're insuring a property full of high-value vehicles against damage, theft, weather, and liability. Your service department adds workers' comp exposure. Customer vehicles on your lot while being serviced are your responsibility. Dealer garage liability, property insurance, and employment liability combined can run $2,000 to $6,000. And then there are regulatory costs. Every state requires dealer licensing, and those requirements are not simple. Ongoing compliance with the FTC's regulations around advertising, financing disclosures, and consumer protection adds up in legal fees, compliance software, and staff training. Non-compliance can mean fines that wipe out months of profit overnight. Shrinkage in the car business. This shows up as damage. Test drives gone wrong. Hailstorms. Lot. Damage. A technician's mistake during a service, even minor damage to a $6,000 vehicle, can eat an entire month of front-end gross on several other deals. Add it all up, and a dealership doing $50 million in revenue has a monthly overhead burden that can easily reach $1.5 to $3 million before a single car is sold. Where the money actually comes from. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you romanticize this business. The people who win in the car business aren't making their money selling cars. They're making it in 3 other places. Used vehicles. Used cars carry dramatically higher front-end gross than new cars. A used vehicle acquired at auction for $1,000 that retails for $1,900 might yield $2,000 to $3,500 in front-end gross, 3 to 5 times what a comparable new vehicle would. Smart dealers obsess over their used car operation. It is the engine of profitability. The finance and insurance department, the F&I office, this is where the real money is made. After you agree on a price for a vehicle, you go sit with the finance manager. They offer you an extended warranty. A penance plan is to cover the difference between your car's value and what you owe. If it's totaled, paint protection, tire, and will cover. These products carry margins of 60% to 80%. A single finance manager can generate $1,000 to $2,500 in back-end profit per vehicle on top of everything from the front end. For a store selling 150 cars a month, the F&I department alone might generate $100,000 to $3,750 in monthly. And then the service and parts. This is the sleeping giant of the dealer business. Service departments are consistently the highest operation under the roof. Parts carry 30% to 40% gross margins. Labor is billed to customers at $150 to $250 per hour in many markets, while technicians are paid flat rate wages, meaning the spread between what you bill and what you pay can be significant. A well-run service department at a busy franchise store does $5,000 to $1.5 million in gross revenue per month. And it is far more predictable than car sales. Cars need oil changes, tires, brakes, and repairs, regardless of whether the new car market is hot or cold. The smartest dealers don't sell cars. They use cars to build a customer base, and then they monetize that customer base through service, financing, and long-term relationships. New car sales are the front door. Service is the house, the takeaway. And to bring this all together, a car dealership looks like one of the most glamorous businesses in retail. Big-ticket items, high-dollar transactions, a brand new covered window. And in terms of raw revenue, it absolutely is a large business, but the margins are brutal. The capital requirements are enormous. The inventory risk is real. The workforce is expensive and difficult to retain. The regulatory environment is complex. And the manufacturers, if you're a franchise store, hold significant power over how you operate, what your building looks like, and what vehicles you're allowed to sell. The dealers who make it work, and some of them make very good livings, do it by running incredibly tight operations, obsessing over their used inventory, building dominant service departments, and maximizing every dollar that comes out of the F&I office. You don't win on cars, they win on systems. If you're thinking about getting into this industry, understand what you're actually signing up for. You're not becoming a car person. You're becoming a real estate operator, a finance company, a service business, and a retail store, all at the same time under one roof with $10 to $20 million at risk on day one. It's not a reason to walk away, but it is a reason to walk in with your eyes open, because the fantasy version of this business, standing in that show and watching deals close, watching money flow, that version exists, but it's on the other side of years of operation grinding, capital management, and razor-thin margin. The cars are just the beginning. If you found this breakdown valuable, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now, because we do this exact deep dive every single week. Real businesses, real numbers, no fluff. And drop a comment below telling me which industry you want us to break down next. Auto repair shops, fast food franchises, grocery delivery. The comments from the last video are already full of great ideas, and your suggestion might be the next one we cover. Taking the content game.